Usually I try to keep this show pretty light and humorous, but unfortunately, this episode is going to get pretty grim. It touches on a subject that anybody who's even thinking about getting into this industry needs to know. A lot of people have some really strange ideas about what being in the filmmaking business is like. They assume that you're making money, you're partying all the time, getting all kinds of awards, living a very glamorous life. While this might hold true for some Hollywood producers and directors and some big stars, it rarely happens for the small independent filmmaker. There are some notable exceptions, but when you try to come up with a few names of people who have really made it in the industry as independents, you're going to find it's an extremely short list. This is also true when it comes to the ideas that a lot of small budget filmmakers grasp onto, and that's that you can make $1 million off of a very low budget film. People generally cite projects like the Blair Witch Project or Paranormal Activity, but I'd like you to think about how many low budget films are made every year and how many you've actually heard of, how many actually got theatrical release, how many became a household name. You're going to find that the percentage is extremely small. This is not a business to get into if you've got a lot of high hopes. The sad truth is that most independent filmmakers struggle like hell every day. There's a lot of rejection, a lot of humiliation, a lot of road stops. I could go on and on. You'll lose a lot of money. You're going to put up with a lot of bullshit. It's a very tough road. Now, the average Joe and a lot of novice filmmakers, when they first get started, have this idea that if you get any kind of distribution, even if it's self-distribution, which, by the way, also includes being on Amazon, that you're making a ton of money on your film. The hard, sad truth is self-distribution and places like Amazon pay pennies. They take advantage of these independent filmmakers because they want to be able to display an awful lot of content and an awful lot of choices, but their cuts for royalties are pathetic. Trust me, I've had a film that had a budget of $30,000 that has been on Amazon Prime for a few years now, and I think it's made about 1/30th of its budget back. Another thing that novice filmmakers have in their heads is that the filmmaking business is extremely glamorous. Everything's going to go perfect, everybody's going to hit their marks the first time, everybody's going to be on their best game, everybody's going to love them. This is a great dream, but it's not very realistic when you think about everything that can go wrong on a film set. The truth of the matter is, filmmaking is extremely difficult, and when you're working on a very small budget and you have a very small crew, a lot of things can go wrong. Anything from the cameras breaking to an actor getting sick or just not showing up on set one day, people quitting in the middle of the production, locations catching on fire, weather ruining your shoot, the list can go on and on. Filmmaking isn't glamorous. It's more like going to war. Now, where the money really comes in is if you happen to land a big distribution deal. This generally includes theatrical release, showing on some of the bigger venues such as Home Box Office or Showtime, and making those kind of deals. This is pretty much every filmmaker's goal, where the royalties are high, that you get the fame, you get the attention. The sad reality is that most small independent filmmakers are not going to get a big distribution deal. And honestly, it's not necessarily because the film is bad. It might be that the distributor just doesn't think that it's marketable for the time. This is especially true when it comes to trends. You might have hired a known actor who just got wrapped up in a scandal. The subject matter might be a little too touchy or too edgy. There's a lot of reasons why a distributor will reject your film. It's not something to really take personally, but it can be crushing. Another route that filmmakers tend to want to go is the film festival circuit. Truthfully, film festivals can be a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people, you get to see a bunch of great films, you get to party. That's the plus side of the film festival circuit. The hard part is getting accepted into them. On the average, the film festival acceptance rate for a film is about 10%. So you might be wondering why your film that got into 1 or 2 big festivals can't get into 5 or 6 smaller ones. It has everything to do with how the juries feel about the film or whether or not it fits into their brand, so to speak. So if you're going to go the film festival route, just be prepared to get a lot of rejection notices. It's a hard truth. You're probably going to get 9 rejection notices to every 1 acceptance. Some people like to play beat the odds by only submitting to the lower level festivals, which unfortunately are often scams. Yes, they'll get their laurels, they'll be able to say that they're award winners. Most savvy filmmakers are going to know better. Just be prepared for a lot of rejection notices and know that it's not necessarily because your film is bad. It could just be a scheduling issue. It could be a lot of things. If you're getting into filmmaking in order to become rich and famous, you need to get out of it right now. You need to go find something else to do, because the chances of this happening are extremely slim. If you're doing this kind of work, you're doing it because you love it. Period. You want to tell stories, you want to get them out there, that's the passion. If you're just in it for the money, you're going to be extremely disappointed. So, figure out what it is that you love. If you love money and wealth and power and fame, look elsewhere. If you love telling stories and creating art and working with people on doing this, then this is the right thing for you. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Unconnected Filmmaker, and if you found this information useful and want to be notified when the next video premieres, just hit that subscribe button. Or if you have anything you'd like to see an episode on, feel free to comment below. See you next time, and keep those cameras rolling.